Hi class, so I have just finished animating my rotoscope. So let me go ahead and show you that. Let's turn this back to white. That's for now. Okay, so I'll go ahead and play that for you. Alright, so this is pretty fun, but I do want this to loop continuously, and I don't love this sort of blinding white background. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the Properties panel over here on the right, and I'm going to click the stage, the little color clip next, or little color next to the stage, and I'm going to pick a color over here. So I like this color. I could pick a dark color, but what happens with the dark colors, you can see all of the little errors I made in my coloring. So I could use this as a strategy to really clean up my coloring, but guess what, I'm tired. I'm just gonna pick a color that's a little bit more harmonious, so it looks a little bit intentional, or at least not as jarring. And now this stage is a little bit more pleasing to look at. I do want to make a little ground layer for my character as well. So right now I have it turned off. I did this previously with a little rectangle. So I'll go ahead and redraw that for you. So I have a rectangle tool over here. I'm just going to click and drag this over. It's okay if it goes off the edge, because all we'll see when we export is the stage itself. So if you want to see what it looks like on export, you can hit Command or Control on a PC and Enter, and it will create exactly what you'll see on export for you. So this loop, as you see, it restarts kind of jarringly. So the way I'm going to get around that is I'm going to take all of these frames and copy and reverse them. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to first click my second to first frame on my very top row. Then I'm going to hold Shift and click my second to last on my very bottom row of my actually animated layer, not my background layer. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to say Copy Frames. Then I'm going to move over to my next available empty frame, and I'm going to make a new blank keyframe there. Then I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to say Paste and Overwrite Frames. This is important. If you do just paste frames, they will paste in the wrong place. So let's paste and overwrite. It may take a minute for these to really come online, so don't panic. All right, and now I'm going to just turn off my ground layer for just a second so we can deal with that later. And I'm going to click my loop icon here and drag that out so it covers the whole animation. Now let's go ahead and check and see how this is playing. Okay, so I have not yet reversed my frames, so that's what's going on here. So let's just do that. I'm going to click so not this layer here, but the one right after, and let's make sure. Let's see what's at the end here. Okay. Yeah, let's reverse from here. So again, click the first frame you want on the top layer, hold Shift, and click the last one frame you want, and you'll highlight all of those frames. Then right click and click Reverse Frames. All right, so let's see how that looks. All right, let's play it through and see what it looks like. Okay, so there's this little stutter at the end here that I don't like. So I'm going to just delete a few of these frames. There's really no need to be precious with these frames because they are duplicates. So let's remove those frames, see if that helps. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, and now finally I'm going to bring my ground layer back in, and I'm going to add some hold frames in here so that it expands out to be long enough. So remember, that is F5 to add in some blank or some hold frames. Oh, and then if you did too many, just like me, just Shift F5 to get rid of them. All right, now let's go ahead and hit Command Return, see what it looks like. Yeah, I am pretty happy with this. So I've got a dancer in a dance hall. Life is pretty good. Now I want to export this animation. So I'm going to export it two ways. I'm going to export it as an animated GIF to embed into the class discussion in a sort of forever loop, and I'm going to export it as an MP4 to turn it in for grading. So unfortunately with the animated GIFs, they will not recognize the stage color. So changing your stage color is really useful, even just for eye strain, but GIFs will not recognize it. So we'll just add a new layer. I'm going to call this wall. I'm going to eyedropper tool my background, and I'm going to make myself a little rectangle to just fill this space out. Okay, so now I'll go to File, Export, Animated GIF. And I can't see anything right now because my GIF is too big. So I'm going to change the width of this down to, let's say 600, let's make it 800 pixels and see what that looks like. Okay, that's a pleasant size. So this is about the size it will appear online in the discussion board. We have this, looking at this flyout panel, we have it as a GIF. It is looking pretty well optimized here. Let's scroll down to our animation tab down here. It's looping forever. Let's preview it. Okay, not bad. So I'm gonna hit save. And I'm going to call this Swan R300 Project 1. I'm going to call this Crit GIF. And it's saving in my Project 1, so I'm happy with that. Hit save again. And you have the GIF, so 50% there. Now let's go ahead and make the MP4. So we'll go to File, Export, Export Video/Media. Okay, so now we have another flyout panel. At the top we have render size, width 1920, height 1080 pixels. So this is HD definition. This is kind of I think it's a happy medium. It's high enough definition that it's not super pixelated, but it's also a low enough definition that it can sort of be uploaded and downloaded fairly easily. It goes over the internet easily, so Vimeo and YouTube both support this HD resolution really easily. So for most of the class, I recommend HD or 1920 by 1080. The span is what percentage of what you've animated are you going to export? So we're going to export our entire movie. When you start making longer animations in the future, you may have different scenes and only want to export one scene at a time. Then you would click down here at scene. But we're going to stay at entire movie. We're not going to mess with our start times because we want the entire range. And for format, we're going to stay with H.264. I usually publish to YouTube, so I'm going to keep it at YouTube 1080p, but if you do anything like Vimeo or any other social media, you can find the most compatible export options here. If, say, you were doing a different shape, so you weren't doing the standard video shape, you were doing maybe a vertical shape or a square, you would want to match source. It's not going to come up in this class, but it may come up in your future. All right, and then finally, we're going to make sure that this output is where we want it to go. This is going to my class folder, so I am happy with that. and I'm going to hit export. All right, great. So I've done that. Now let's head over to our Canvas course. All right, so we've exported our video. Now let's head over and turn these things in. So I'm gonna head over to first my Dancing Rotoscope project assignment. And then you will hit Start Assignment and turn in your MP4 here. So you can just click this and upload it and then submit this assignment. That's what I will grade. You can see that it's successfully submitted over here on the right. And then over back on our home screen, we'll scroll down to our Project 1 critique. And we will reply to this critique with a image. So a GIF is processed by computers as images, not videos. So let's go ahead and upload image, search our computer, and find our crit image. Now let us submit that. And I'm not actually going to submit it because I don't want to attach my stuff, but after that you'll wait a couple days and then respond to 2 of your classmates' GIFs, just telling them what you liked about what they did, what colors you noticed, what decisions they made, and then moving over to what you interpret about their choices, what they think is important, what you're noticing, and also what is and is not working. So you want to be respectful with your classmates, but you also want to be real with them, that you may be seeing something that they don't see. So the benefit of critique is that you get an outside perspective. So try to be honest and kind. All right, that's all for Project 1. I can't wait to see you for Project 2.